What's going on, you gamers? Today we're going to be jumping back into a bit of Diablo 4. There's been a big update to the game, and all of it, honestly all of it, seems like it's heading in the right direction. If you all know exactly what they've done and why this is probably the best update yet, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at the update that they've recently chucked out to us. This patch is, in my opinion, the best one by an absolute mile, and it really addresses some of the biggest issues in the game. Now ultimately I was flicking through the patch notes, and if I were to ramble all of these off, it will probably be about a 20-30 minute video. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to chuck a link in the description that's going to be able to tell you everything you need to know about all of the smaller fixes in place, whether it be co-op or gameplay wise. But ultimately with this one, I'm just going to be going over the biggest and the best ones, and in my opinion that's going to be down to the XP or lack of XP we've been getting that they're finally addressing. So first off, one that they probably should have put in from the start, but this one helps you massively, and that's now whenever you're using your sigils for your nightmare dungeons, instead of having to make your way all the way there, taking several minutes sometimes, now you can just go straight over to it, click on it, and you're going to be teleported straight to the instance. This saves you a lot of time, it makes things a whole bunch easier, and overall it's going to mean you can jump between them much faster, earning yourself XP at a much better rate. But speaking of XP, even better than that, now the enemies that are inside are going to be rewarding you even greater XP when you're defeating them. XP has been a massive issue in this game, and honestly after round about level 70, I want to say 75 onwards, it feels like an absolute chore. I've been waiting for this game for years. I love ARPGs, but I had to switch off my barbarian for a while because at level 83 I felt like his bar just wasn't moving whatsoever, and it started to feel like a real chore rather than actual fun. Now I've tested it out a few times and you can actually tell the difference. It's not ridiculous, it's not like they've times it by 5 or 10, but you can really tell the difference from before, and now you can actually notice your XP bar going up as you're beating the enemies, making it in my eyes much more rewarding than before. Also tallying on top of that is going to be you get more XP now when you complete those dungeons. It means now finally you're going to be completing nightmare dungeons rather than just running single standard caves over and over again, your normal dungeons. Hopefully now this will replace that, as that will mean you can level up your glyphs as well. From what I've seen, the glyphs look like you get the same XP for them. I couldn't notice any difference myself, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but it seemed the same. But they've also been putting a few other things in place in other areas in order to reward more XP. For example, your hell tides, when you're running those and opening up the chests, they're now going to give you a little bit more XP when you're opening them up, which is great because hell tides are something you have to do for the resources in order to reroll and get the best gear. And finally, your tree of whispers, when you're completing those events, it's also again going to give you a little bit more XP. So they've basically tried to boost a lot of the endgame XP, making it more rewarding, making it so that you actually want to do the content now, rather than it feeling like an overall grind that wasn't really rewarding whatsoever. There were a few other things they mentioned, such as the events within these dungeons. Some of them, like the holdout events, during those stages you weren't actually being rewarded with XP. That's been fixed now. And the Helltide bosses that you come across, those ones with a massive amount of health pool, also tend to drop significantly better loot. I haven't actually tested that one myself yet, and a few other things they went on to say, which is giving me a lot of hope as well for the future. They're going to be looking at mob density, the elite packs, and just making the experience better overall, which is great because sometimes it really felt like you just couldn't find enough enemies to take down, and you wanted to mow through them, plow through the toughest content, take on a big pack of baddies. It felt a bit sparse, and all they were doing was nerfing things, whereas at the very end game you'd rather be tackling a lot more enemies. It looks like this is something on their agenda, so hopefully they'll start to tackle that soon. And finally, balance changes. They're going to be addressing a lot of balance changes throughout the classes, and also looking at things such as your basic skills. They feel basic skills don't seem to be quite as impactful as they were hoping, so they're going to be making some changes around that. But not just that, they're also going to be addressing some of the skills that players are feeling are currently underwhelming. So basically they'll be making some adjustments and probably making it so that some things at the moment that aren't probably being played with as much as others get a nice little buff, and could mean you can have some more build diversity. Overall I think this is a massive leap in the right direction. Let me know in the comments, how are you feeling about this patch, what are you thinking the XP's like now, and as always, for all things gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.